This review has been approved by Lord Carnage. Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room. Are you ready to beat up enemies with style and glasses? If so, you're ready for Bayonetta, one of the best action games I've played in years. Now, who would win in this fight of lady video game characters? Bayonetta, Lara Croft, or Ms. Pac-Man? Just think about that. That would be an interesting battle. One wears short shorts and dual wields pistols. The other pulls a chainsaw out of who knows where, and Ms. Pac-Man will take all of your money and leave you with a sore wrist. I think it's a three-way tie. They're all good. And they're all way out of your league, especially Bayonetta, who's a sultry witch that wears guns for shoes.
Long since erased from the records of time.
This is one of these games where I immediately stopped paying attention to the plot and immersed myself in the gameplay because Bayonetta is terrific. On the surface, it could be described as a more cinematic and stylish Devil May Cry or God of War, but it's got its own thing. From Platinum Games, who's known for doing great work, Bayonetta's greatest asset is Bayonetta, who turns out to be an incredibly likable and interesting character. She's a witch who wears a suit made from her own hair, and somehow after a while this all seems to make complete logical sense. The madness is driven by the game's excellent cinematics and wonderful use of music. It's all over the place, but it just works. It works really well.
If I needed a biographer, you wouldn't be my first choice. I see to the funeral. You get me the information I asked for.
The directing is great and makes the cutscenes stand out way above average. She's always doing something interesting or fiddling with her glasses or something. And all of the characters are eccentric and kind of bizarre, which of course totally fits the game. But let's move on to the gameplay. While it's probably not something you haven't seen before if you've played games like Devil May Cry or God of War, Bayonetta is fast, fun, and tricky. This is an action beat-em-up where you learn moves and combos. You can only get so far with button mashing, so eventually you'll have to learn how to counter and activate Witch Time, which slows everything down and allows you to cause increased damage. There's a lot of boss battles, and when you win, you finish them off like, well, this. It's so bizarre, you gotta love it. It feels like a pretty lengthy game the first time you play through it. There's lots of different environments, and they're all really well done, too. Lots of detail, lots of stuff hidden throughout. The level designs are super cool. They're not just lava pits and jungle. It's like you're fighting through some kind of weird-ass fairy tale. When the enemies attack, if you roll out of the way at the last moment, you'll activate Witch Time. And that can be tricky depending on how many enemies you're fighting and how fast they are. It looks and sounds great. Bayonetta can be found on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Wii U. The sequel, Bayonetta 2, can be found on the Wii U. As you play through the game, you'll unlock new moves and learn new combos and get new weapons and stuff. I think Bayonetta was made to be played more than once, though. It took me the entire game just to figure out what to do, so I think once you learn the basics and understand the different boss battles, it just gets more fun from there. Few games blend style and substance together as effortlessly as Bayonetta does. It plays as good as it looks. And that's not always the case. In fact, that's not usually the case. If only your climax finishing moves were even bigger and crazier. Come on! Why don't you treat the enemy like a volleyball? Great stuff. Highly recommended, Bayonetta.